Yes, it's Saturday. Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from our city and our state and our country. And we take a look at your contributions, whether they are questions about what to do or suggestions or ideas or opinions. All is good here at Coffee and Headlines. And today is Saturday, June 3rd. And as always, it's a pleasure to get together with you. Another week went by, and this was a fun and challenging and very rewarding week for me. I hope you've had a good week. And we have interesting things to share with you. And today we're having our very first Appreciation Saturday. We've never had one before, and this is going to be a new mini section that we're going to introduce later on in the broadcast. Before we go there, though, as always, if you are new to the live broadcast and would like to give us the opportunity to welcome you, please write the word new in a comment. If you have something in mind that would like for everyone to acknowledge or to get a reaction on, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q, which I don't see any of just yet, but we will look for those later on in the broadcast. So as always, let us start with our news just to see what's going on out there. If you were sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for Puerto Vallarta's El Centro neighborhood to be declared a Pueblo Mágico, you can now rest at ease. It's not going to happen. At least not this time around, as the registration deadline has passed. And according to statements made by Jalisco's Secretary of Tourism, Vanessa Perez Lamas, a number of requirements still need to be addressed for this to happen. It is also worth remembering that the whole idea came from the National Chamber of Commerce, or Canaco, not so much so from the municipality itself, and it is the municipality that would have to complete the registration process. Maybe next year, maybe not. We're going to have to wait and see. And there are more grumblings out there. Another day went by after the massive concert celebrated for Puerto Vallarta's anniversary, and locals keep raising eyebrows at all the things that went on. Everybody loves a good celebration, but the consensus seems to be, let's celebrate improvements for the city instead, and not bringing performers for one night and then the whole experience is over. Of course, we have no idea of how the concert was financed. I'm sure it didn't happen for free, but it is an important consideration. Do we need a massive 50,000 people concert for one night to celebrate the anniversary of the city, or do we need streets paved and parks fixed and so forth and so on? Let me know what you think about that, and we'll take a look at your comments during the comment section. And moving right along, I have sad news. A couple of weeks ago, we announced that the Coapinole Lagoon was drying due to the intense drought that is taking over part of Mexico. And we hoped for a rescue plan from the city administration. Unfortunately, that rescue plan didn't materialize, and the lagoon is now completely dry. And even though the city did intervene by cleaning the area this past May 20, no efforts were made to bring water to it. Of course, water will come when the rain season begins, but sadly, all the aquatic animals that were living in the lagoon are probably not going to be there to welcome it. That is very unfortunate indeed. Yesterday, we touched base on the possibility of bringing back the train route from Mexico City to Querétaro, which used to be very popular, at least when I was a kid. And now President López Obrador has stated that the project is both strategic and necessary in hopes that it will actually materialize. Now, this train route, unlike the Maya train, would not be operated by the Mexican government due to track concession ownership situations. It would require that the company that presently owns the concession to the tracks to choose to run it. What is this company? It is called Canadian Pacific Kansas City. And to that effect, López Obrador, our president, has been in talks with the company so we can file this news item in the wait and see bin as well. There's a lot of traffic going on now between Mexico City and Querétaro, President López Obrador stated. So the train makes a lot of sense as there is no place really into which the highway could be further expanded. And speaking of wait and see news, representatives from the United States Federal Aviation Agency were in Mexico to conclude their evaluation of Mexico's airline services and air traffic routes to hopefully return our country to Category 1 as it relates to airline security. We reported a few weeks ago that when the new Felipe Angeles Airport was opened in Mexico City, many of the air traffic routes had to be changed to accommodate the new airport, and this raised some eyebrows on behalf of the Federal Aviation Agency, who oversees security, and they downgraded Mexico to Category 2. Mexico, of course, is not happy about that. So now it is expected that the FAA will make a resolution sometime in the near future about this, and we'll see how that goes. Does it affect our travel plans? No, not at all. Should you be concerned about the fact that Mexico is a Category 2 country as far as airline security or air travel security is concerned? Well, let's put it this way. You've been flying and things have been just fine. So now let us take a quick look at the weather just to see what's going on out there. Sanctuary should expect lots of fire, brimstone, and microtransactions this week. I have no idea what that relates to, but it would be great if anybody does and you enlighten us. It is 27 degrees right now. Humidity is at 74%. And our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 81. Our weather forecast. I love it when I push the wrong button. My bad. Our weather forecast for today is going to be humid with mostly clear skies throughout the day with a high of 30 and a low of 23. Tomorrow, Sunday, we can expect a humid day with mostly clear skies throughout the day, a high of 31 and a low of 23. And Monday, a humid day again with mostly clear skies through the day, a high of 30 and a low of 24. A low chance of rain, although in the last couple of days I've been looking towards the mountains in the afternoon and they're starting to disappear, which is a good thing. They're starting to not be visible at times, and you know, when that happens, it means that rain is somewhere around the corner. Let us hope that that is the case. It is much needed in the city. Now, moving right along, I want to tell you that as we announced yesterday, the Ruta Mushi bus, Puerto Vallarta's new mobile history museum, opened to the public at Plaza Hidalgo or Parque Hidalgo, and it is now temporarily there for all to enjoy. In a separate post, Ruta Mushi indicates that general admission is possible with a 20 peso donation, 10 pesos for students and seniors, and there is a limited space for 10 visitors to go on the bus every 15 minutes. So you go on the bus, you check it out, you get off the bus, you walk across the street to Starbucks and get a coffee. All is well with the world. And speaking of libations, bad segue. It is the first Saturday of June, and Arte Vallarta Museo will feature their first Saturday of the month shindig tonight from 6 to 8. I think it coincides with the birthday of renowned local artist Ada Colorina. And of course, I was happy to see that the air frying cooking classes continue at the Joint Co-working Hotel with our city's own air fryer queen, Sharon, who is now focusing on vegan dishes on her next installment, which will take place on June 24 at 11 a.m. As always, I will leave you with a link for more information. And now let's see what else we have here. Of course, we do have a new section that we're introducing for the first time here at Coffee and Headlines, and this is called, drum roll, Thank You Saturday. Today, we are going to begin appreciating all of you who have chosen to contribute to Coffee and Headlines with coffees, and particularly those of you that have pursued memberships of one kind or another over the past couple of years. Needless to say, the list is long, but today we want to specifically acknowledge new friends or new cluster members that joined us in the last few days. Thank you very much, Pamela, Maria, Suzanne, Guy, Hector, and Mark for becoming Clusterites. And of course, we announced a new membership tier this week, and that would involve giving appreciation and thanks to Dale, Sharon, Beth, Daniel, and Liz. In addition, I have a special thank you to make. I was quite surprised the other day when I received a WhatsApp message from Chris from the Secret Wine Bar. And Chris says to me, we want to come and deliver something that is organic. I'm like, oh shit, here comes a torta or something like that. Well, no, I told them I was not available, so they stopped by Whiskey Kitchen and dropped this gorgeous flower arrangement for me, along with a card that had a beautiful message from which I extracted, you were a big part of making our dream come true, Chris and Carlos. This was such a beautiful, unexpected surprise. I was really happy to get it. As you may recall, early this season, or early last fall, Chris sent me a very beautiful message saying, hey, we're opening a new wine bar. Maybe you'd like to come check it out. And I went and I loved it. And you know the drill. We've been enjoying the Secret Wine Bar all this year and hope for a safe summer in Europe and hope for a wonderful return in the fall. And with all that said, now let's turn over to your comments and see what everybody is thinking of this morning. As always, I appreciate your good mornings every morning. Lucy, I didn't get a chance to go to your shindig yesterday, but I certainly hope that it was very, very successful. I am working on a workshop that you may be interested in attending. I'm going to make that announcement on Monday, and it has to do with how do we go about promoting our events as successfully as possible in a city like Puerto Vallarta, where all of a sudden there's a lot of people, there's not a lot of attention span, and there are great things happening that some of us love to communicate, and some of us, when we are attendees, would like to attend. So this is going to be a very fun and important workshop for nonprofits, for small businesses that don't have an IT or a web person or a social media person, for artists, for small operations, and I will be making a full announcement about that on Monday. I am thrilled to do this. Let's see what we have. Wow, Dan can now take walks with a wheelchair and get Wi-Fi from a block away. Well, this is great news. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's see what we have. Many hellos, many comments. I see a comment. Yes, this is very sad, Earl. I assume this has to do with the Coapinole Lagoon. Again, it will get full of water once more, or maybe they'll dig it so that they can have the lagoon can have access to natural water supplies. I don't know. I just think it's sad because not only was it beautiful, but it also provides temperature control in Pitillal. I see a cue from Brian. CP train. I'll call my people in Canadia. Well, please do call your people in Canadia because the train from Mexico City to Querétaro was a lot of fun. If they were to extend it all the way to San Miguel de Allende like it used to run, it was a great way to get from Mexico City to San Miguel de Allende. Here's another comment from Gary. I was reading a few articles where locals were discussing that money for celebrations should be spent on the schools. Great point. One particular was suggesting a covering for students in the civic area so the students were not in the blazing sun for their gatherings. I am totally agreeing with you, Gary, and I am happy to report that when we last reported on the advances of the improvements on the school that is located in El Centro, they now do seem to have a large dome over the patio so that students won't have to deal with direct sunlight anymore. I think it's going to be inaugurated sometime before the next school season, so we'll have to see how that turned out. Thank you very much for your comment. Spencer doesn't have a queue, but that's okay. I agree, local improvements more important. However, with the anticipated revenues from this business venture is another factor. Now, where and when and how much will the city revenue department issue the revenue to be allocated to city projects? Well, reports have been made. The city has announced revenue for projects. The state has announced revenue for city projects or for state projects, and we have reported in the past the things that are contemplated and not contemplated. Or primarily, local news outlets like to focus on the things that are not contemplated. For example, the Federación Bridge, which has been over a decade in the making, and it still has not been contemplated and will not be contemplated for at least another year, apparently. Let's see what else. Oh, wonderful. Gary went to the Ruta Mushi inauguration yesterday. Very impressive. I am going to go and check it out sometime in the near future. Lucy comments that Joshua and her saw the lagoon not too long ago and it was full of turtles. Well, yeah, unfortunately, when there's no more water for the turtles to be, they're probably all in the surface. And again, they may make it or they may not. Let's see. I think we have gotten to, oh my God, I see an abundance of kisses and wonderful things from Jefe Costa. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to share those with everybody that is watching today. And this, of course, brings us to the end of today's broadcast, the end of this week. The weekend is here. I don't know what your plans are, but between my upcoming workshop on music plagiarism, my upcoming workshop on how to become an event promoter master, and other projects that we have on the table, it's going to be a busy week, but I'm looking forward to it. I like to stay productive. So this is it. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. I hope you watch some Star Trek for free on YouTube, as we announced yesterday. And I hope you will be back on Monday for more Coffee and Headlines. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon.